All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Today, I'm going to, pretty simple schedule today. I'm going to walk you through the Align Slack integration, demo some of the features, and then I'll take some questions you have at the end. My name is Joey Muething. I'm a product manager at Align. Um, for any questions or any feedback you have on this integration or anything in Align in general, I'm always here to talk. My phone number and my email is right here. And this is being recorded right now. So if you have to leave early, I'll be sending this out to everyone if you want to catch up or if you want to send it up to the rest of your team. This was scheduled for about an hour. I think it's probably going to be more like 40 or 45 minutes just to set expectations. So let me just start with talking why we built this integration. We've had a lot of our users ask about integrating Slack and Align features together. So this has been on our roadmap for a while. We started working on it a little earlier in the year. This actually came out of a hackathon of ours. We were just trying to solve a fun little problem in our own office where if someone makes big progress against one of their priorities, we let them play a song in the office, and we all sort of celebrate a little bit. We realized sometimes we were leaving other people that don't work in our New Orleans office sort of out of the fun. So we did a little one-day hackathon, and this was the sort of genesis of this integration, which it posted messages to our team Slack channel whenever somebody made progress against their priorities, so we could all celebrate together. We've built a lot of other features off of that. Team celebration. We now let you point your your Align alerts to Slack, and we let you pull up Huddle summaries in Slack. So that's what I'm going to be walking through today. We think, obviously at this time right now where we have a lot of people working from home, the need to be able to communicate clearly with your team, have transparency, be able to share a lot of the same office culture that you would have normally if you were in the office is obviously more important than ever. So we really, in the last few weeks, we really sped up the development on this so that we could get it out for everybody and people could take advantage of it. So I'm really proud of what we put out. One of the questions or comments a lot of people are going to have are, what else are we building? What other features are we building on the Slack integration? I would love your feedback on that. We're definitely looking to add features to it over the next couple of weeks and months. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's it for slides. Now I'm going to jump right in, and I'm going to demo some of the features for you. So the first feature I want to show you is the ability to pull up your Huddle summaries in Slack. So for those that Align users yet, we have daily and weekly huddles, which are just meeting instances where everybody can get together, talk about the updates they've made against their goals and priorities, and answer questions of one another and celebrations. So a lot of teams are running those daily meetings off of Slack now, so we want to make it really easy to pull your Align information into Slack so everybody can be running good meetings. So to pull up your Huddle information, we use what Slack calls slash commands, which are little keywords you type into a message box that pull up, that trigger the integration to return information to you. So the two slash commands to pull up your Huddle information are called slash daily huddle and slash weekly huddle. So I'm going to just demo daily huddle for you. Weekly huddle does the same things. It just pulls in your information for weekly huddles. So the first command is just simply typing slash daily huddle. And once you're integrated, the integration will give you hints, so you don't have to remember to type the same thing every time. So you could just click on this. What's being returned right now when I enter that command is I'm getting back all of the Huddle information for all of the huddles that I belong to for all of the members of those huddles. So in this example, I belong to two huddles. One's called All Hands and one's called Daily Scrum. I'm getting back everybody's information for today, which for me is Thursday. I'm going to get, we provide a link back into Align for that huddle if you want to read more information. But what comes back in Slack is, my information first, and then everybody else's that participates in this huddle. If someone didn't fill in their information, it will say so down here, so you can sort of keep tabs and see if anybody needs to remember to update their huddle before the meeting happens. And if you are the one who didn't update your huddle, it'll say so up top. So right here, it says, I didn't enter my what's up information for this huddle. It actually gives me the ability to update my huddle directly in Slack. So I don't have to go back into a line just to enter my information if I don't want to. So if I were to click on this button, I get this little screen that comes up, and I could enter in my update here, and that'll save into a line. I'm not going to do it just yet because I want to show you other alerts you can set up. But suffice to say, this is a great way to pull up all your huddle information, and maybe you forgot to provide an update for one of your huddles. You can do it really quickly in Slack, so you don't have to step out of your normal workflow in Slack, or if you're having a conversation with someone in Slack, you can do your aligned tasks right in here. This can end up being a lot of information, just typing /daily huddle. We know a lot of people can belong to 8 huddles, and each huddle might have 20 participants. That's a lot of information. You can add some keywords to your / command to slim down the content you get back. So if you just wanted to get information back from one of your huddles, you would still type /daily huddle. But if you were to type the name of the huddle after it, so for instance, daily scrum, it's just going to return information for that one huddle, which is what is here. If you just wanted your own information and you didn't want to worry about everybody else's information, you could type /daily huddle in the word me. That'll return your information across all of the huddles that you belong to. So in this case, I should get 2 messages back. One for my information for all hands and one for my information in daily scrum. If you wanted to narrow all the way down to just your information and just for one scrum, you would combine those 2 keywords. So you would type /daily huddle, daily scrum, and the word me. And that'll return just one piece of information. Within the integration in Slack, there's a help section, which will give you this kind of information that I'm walking you through now. We also have a link to an FAQ page, which I provided in the title slide, which will be there in the recording. That's a full walkthrough of all of the capabilities, everything you can do, and all of the keywords you can use for / commands. And there's also a YouTube video. I think it's a 3 or 4 minute YouTube video that just walks through all this functionality again. So don't worry about having to remember all of this information that I demoed to you right now. This is just a demo. We have plenty of documentation and help if you want to learn some of the details of this stuff later. So that's /daily huddle. That's how you would pull back information for your daily huddles and get a nice summary report in Slack. /weekly huddle is the same thing. It's just for your weekly huddles. So I'm not going to walk through it in too much depth. I'll just show you the top level. If I type /weekly huddle, I'll get back my information. And in this case, I belong to one weekly huddle, which is the marketing weekly check-in. And I just wanted to show in this example that the formatting you put into a line, whether it be bulleted lists, numbered lists, emojis, bold, italics, all of that kind of formatting will pull through into Slack too. So you don't have to worry about losing the nice formatted huddle updates you write in a line. We have one other / command outside of huddle information. This lets you set your daily top priority. It lets you check what your daily top priority is, and it actually lets you mark it as complete if you want to. That / command, probably not surprisingly, is called top priority. Right now, you'll see that I don't have a top priority for today. So the message is going to tell me that. It says I haven't entered my top priority. But again, I don't have to jump back into a line just to add my top priority. If I retype that command, and I can type my top priority right here, and that will save my top priority in a line. So next time, if I were to check what my top priority is for today, it'll tell me. And then the last thing I can do is, if I want to say that I've completed that top priority, again, I start with the / command, and I can type the word done. I can also type the word complete, completed, finish, or finished, and all of those will trigger marking my top priority as complete. So again, this is the same thing you could have done in a line by logging in, going to the top priority calendar, checking off your top priority. But if you're in the middle of your workflow in Slack, you don't want to get interrupted midstream, you can do all this really easily from the chat message line directly in Slack. So that's the first feature, which is slash commands to pull up your information. The next feature that you can do in our integration is you can point your Align alerts, which exist today and normally go to email. You can point them directly to Slack instead. And I'll show that to you really quickly. So the way in Align, where you schedule your alerts today is you go to your profile, which is in your avatar in the top right corner. You go down to profile, and down here, your alerts. There are a few alerts you can put in. One is alerting, having an alert sent to you if your daily huddle isn't filled in for the day, if your weekly huddle isn't filled in for the day, if your top priority isn't completed for the day, or you can just send yourself a custom message, which can just is just an alert for yourself for anything. A lot of people use it for, hey, remember to update your priorities. Hey, remember to review the one-page plan. We have a team meeting tomorrow, those kind of things. So the custom alert is just a catch-all. So normally all of these alerts get sent to your email. If you're integrated into Slack, you can choose to have those sent to your Slack workspace instead. And I'll show you what that looks like here. I just set up an example earlier in the day to send. That's what these alerts look like. So this example, I scheduled to have get sent to me, well, last night at 7:30 for the sake of example. But it says, this is your huddle. It's not done. It's not filled in yet. You can update it here. And this update button is the same thing I showed you earlier with slash commands. Which again, with just a quick press of the button, you can fill in your information here. Yeah. So that saves easily, and then I'll show you, that that's saved if I go back to the slash commands for daily Scrum and for me. So just again, real easy way to get a nice summary of your huddles before you meet in Slack, make updates if you need to, and make sure the rest of your team is prepared for the meeting. So that's the second feature, which is alerts. The third feature I will show you is, the third feature actually is the huddle updates itself. The last feature I'll show you, which is what I talked about a little earlier, which was just sort of the genesis of this whole project, was being able to celebrate team wins. So if progress is made against your aligned goals and priorities, we want you to be able it to be visible to the entire company, and we want you to celebrate that. It's sort of more important than ever to be celebrating these wins in the times we're living in. So we want to make that easy. So what the Slack integration lets you do is you can point, when you first integrate your Align account to your Slack workspace, you can designate a channel to be your public updates channel. So I'm going to do this on my phone real quick. I'm going to update one of my company priorities in my account. My priority is to get 30 App Store reviews. I'm making that update right now in the Align mobile app. So I'm, just for the sake of example, let's say I had 8 reviews, 3 came in overnight, so I'm up to 11. I'm making that update to my priority right now in the mobile app. And when I do that, you're going to see that's going to post a message to the Slack channel so everybody can see that you made progress. So you can celebrate, you kind of get to do all the fun stuff that people kind of like Slack for, which is obviously emojis and emoticons. So, we use this today ourselves within Align. Somebody makes progress. We want to make it really easy to celebrate that, send congratulations, and, just really celebrate the small wins that your teams have. So these messages get sent out whenever somebody makes progress against one of their priorities. It also will send a message if somebody completes one of their top tasks, because that's important to celebrate too. There is the ability to turn these messages off if you're not ready for that kind of public transparency, or if it's just too much noise, too many people, too big of a team for that. So you could turn that off if you want to. One of the features improvements we're looking to make is choose what kind of events you would want to get sent here. Maybe you only want priority update messages. Maybe you only want them if they're company priorities. Maybe you only want priorities from a certain team or group of people, that kind of thing. So that's one of the pieces of feedback we got, which is, you know, people would like the ability to sort of slim down and choose the kind of events that get sent here. One important point is if any of your priorities or tasks have security on them, so if they're only visible to certain team members, these will never get sent here. Only completely publicly visible priorities and tasks would trigger messages to this channel. I think that's probably all I was looking to show. I have Henry, who's also on the call. He's been collecting your questions throughout. We're going to take a quick 30-second break. We're going to huddle up, and he's going to read me off the first couple questions. So give us about 30 seconds, and I'll be right back on, and we'll be answering questions. All right, the first question that came in was, well, how do you connect your Align account to Slack in the first place? I'll show you that real quick. It's pretty simple. You start in Align. So this is an administrator function. So one of your team's admins would have to do this. But you go to the administration and then the Align settings page. And here is where all your team your team integration information is kept. You'll see right now that in this example account, I'm already connected to Slack. So I'm going to disconnect first, and then I'll show you how the connection works. So that would you just do that by clicking this trash can. It sends you off to Slack. That's just the way Slack integrations work. So you would disconnect the Align app by going down here and clicking Remove App. And you'll see once that disconnect happens that I'm no longer connected. So now I'll actually answer the question and show you how to connect. So you start here, you go to the configure page and you click add to Slack. And again, you're sent off to Slack. An Align account connects to one Slack workspace. Almost, the vast majority of teams that use Slack have one workspace. I was logged into the Slack integration webinar workspace last. Check to make sure that's the workspace you actually want to connect to. If it's not, you can hit this drop down if you're connected to other workspaces. So you pick the workspace you want to connect your Align account to, and then what you choose is what channel do you want those public messages that I showed you earlier, which is the celebrate team wins when you make an update on a priority. You have to choose a channel to send that to. So I'll choose to send it back to what I was demoing earlier. And then you hit allow. And that connects your account. So now I'm right back where I started. So I'm connected. You can check your configuration information here. It says what workspace you're connected to, what channel you're connected to. And there are also some options here. This is the toggle I mentioned, where if you're not ready for all of those public channel messages, you could deactivate just those messages here. And then if you wanted to notify the rest of your Align team that we're integrated into Slack now and tell them to start using it, you could press this button here. This will send an email to all of your Align team members who aren't yet connected to Slack. And I'll explain what it means for a user to connect to Slack in just a moment, but this is just an email reminder, so you don't have to do all the legwork of talking to your team about the new integration. And then one last thing that helps show that your team is connected is once you connect to your company, we just send a little welcome message to the channel that you designated. just says, hey, someone on your team connected a line to Slack. Here's what you can do. And then if, and this is the last thing I'll show everyone, if you want to activate the Slack alerts instead of email that I mentioned earlier, there's one more toggle in a line that you have to activate, and that's in your profile page. So I'll go back to your profile page. Down here in alert settings, if you want to receive alerts to Slack instead of email, you would toggle this on. So when I toggle this on, it found a match because my Align email matches my Slack email. If they were different for some reason, we would just ask you to go find your Slack user ID, which is really easy to do in Slack, and you would copy and paste it in here. But in my example, my emails match, so we just connect you right away. You confirm that with here. So that's how you connect your Align account to Slack in the first place. The other question we got, I'm just reading it. Oh, the question was, does all of this work on the Slack mobile app? The answer is yes. If we were in the office, I would have the equipment to hook my phone up to this webinar really easily. I don't, but just suffice to say, everything I've been showing you in terms of slash commands to pull up your huddle information, to receive alerts, and to get those public channel messages all work just as easily on the Slack mobile app as they do in the desktop client that I've been showing you during this demo. The last question I see is, I want to try out the integration myself before the rest of my team. Can I do that? My advice for that would be, if you want to sort of do this yourself first, and you kind of want to take it through the motions before you communicate that to the rest of your team, my suggestion would be first to turn off the public channel messages right here, like I said. That way there just won't be a lot of noise. You can sort of go through it and test everything out yourself beforehand. So I'd suggest that. The other point I'll make is, all of the slash command demos I've been showing you, so all of these these are all private messages. So I triggered all of these out of just my app DM in Slack. That's private to you. You're only ever going to see this. You can also use these slash commands in any channel, any public channel or private channel you want. You would just have to first invite a line bot, and that's really easy in Slack. You would just type slash invite @ line bot. So now all of that functionality now works in this channel. But the important point is, even if you're using these commands in a public channel, it might look like these are public messages that everyone in this channel can see. These are actually still just private messages to you. So, if the question is, can I sort of do a test drive of this myself? I think the answer is yes. So again, no one else is going to see these messages. You can do this all day just by yourself and make sure, you're ready to share it with the rest of your team, and you can turn off those public channel messages. So in short, the answer is yes. I think it's pretty easy to test drive this yourself before you share that information with the rest of your team. Seeing if any other questions came in towards the end. I made this point earlier. If you have any ideas of other functionality you would want in the Slack integration, other things, other Align features you'd like to do in Slack, I'd love to hear about it. My information, again, is right here. There'll be a recording of this video. I'll email it myself. So just feel free to reply in an email to me if you have any more feedback. I'm not going to go into a lot of depth about this right now. I know there's probably a lot of questions on people's minds, which is, what other integrations besides Slack are you working on? Within kind of the team chat, team collaboration space, we're definitely looking at Microsoft Teams. We've got a lot of feedback on that, especially lately, that Microsoft is opening a lot of that up for free. We're definitely looking at that, a lot of the same features, but we understand that there's a lot of stuff that Teams does on top of that. We're starting to collect feedback on that, getting some information. So I'd love to hear from you about that too. Outside of kind of the team chat collaboration space, we're currently working on integrations with Salesforce to keep your KPIs and your critical numbers updated automatically and aligned based on Salesforce reports. We're looking to do a similar thing with QuickBooks. We're also doing a bigger integration with an automation platform called Zapier. I don't know if you're not familiar with what Zapier is. Zapier is an automation platform that basically lets you automate tasks between software A and software B. So you can set triggers that say, if something happens in software A, go do this in software B. So that's a really great platform because it kind of lets you do many integrations out of the box, and it works really well for people who don't have any coding experience. It's really user friendly. There's a really friendly user interface, so anybody can set up these automation tasks themselves. We're currently working on that, and we think that'll open up a lot of doors to maybe you don't use Salesforce, maybe you don't use QuickBooks, maybe you want to keep some of your HubSpot metrics up to date and aligned. Maybe you want to anything. Maybe you keep a Google Sheet of your KPIs and you don't want to have to double enter between your Google Sheet and Align. Zapier is a really good way to automate those tasks. So those are the next few integrations we're looking at. We're looking to keep going. So if anybody has any wishes, if they have a wish list of integrations, we'd love to hear about it. Again, feel free to send me an email, call me, whatever, anytime. A question was asked, will we get a copy of this meeting? The answer is yes, we're recording it right now. We will send you a copy of that in an email directly. Also on this FAQ page, which is available right here, I imagine we'll probably embed a copy of this webinar there too, if you want to check it out after. Someone has commented they would love to see a Smartsheet integration. I will add that to the list. I will do a little research on that. I will let you know if I have any questions on how your team uses Smartsheet. All right. I'm going to conclude with that. I appreciate everyone taking the time to join in on this meeting. This integration, to be clear, is available right now. If you are currently an Align customer, you can go to the Align settings screen right now and connect to Slack right now. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. If you're not yet an Align customer and would like to schedule a demo, there is a link to our demo sign up and scheduling on the Slack integration FAQ page. So feel free to go there or just go to aligntoday.com and sign up for a demo there, and we'd love to talk more. So thanks everyone and have a great day.